Welcome back to Luxsento's book review series. Today we will continue with the work of Japanese writer Haruki Murakami, Colorless, Tsukuru, Tazaki, and His Years of Pilgrimage. Unlike in other books by Haruki, the main character in this story does not use the word I. Not too far away in time like the characters in Norwegian Wood or South of the Border, West of the Sun, this time I can exclaim, "Oh, finally the characters have something in common with me. They live in the era of Google, Facebook, as well as online newspapers. They are children of the generation that grew up after the war." And most importantly, the reason I bought this book is because Tsukuru's story is somewhat similar to mine in college. Back then, my mood was also sad and painful, almost like Tsukuru's, so when I entered the bookstore and read a few sentences, I was moved, and suddenly thought, this is the book for me. Brief introduction of the content. In a group of 5 friends, 3 boys and 2 girls, who have been close since high school, the other 4 people's names, in Japanese, all have colors and they call each other by nicknames. Black, white, blue, red, only Tazaki Tsukuru's name does not have a color, so he calls them by their real names. After finishing high school in Nagoya, the other 4 people continued to stay there to attend college, but only Tsukuru moved to Tokyo, a bigger city. To study engineering in order to build train stations in the future, his hobby can be said to be his only one. During a visit to his hometown Nyoga, Tsukuru was cut off by the other 4 and said they didn't want to see him again without explaining why. Tsukuru was so hurt that he didn't want to know and returned to Tokyo. Through the pain, he changed a lot. When he was 36 years old, his girlfriend, Sarah, told him that Tsukuru should find out more about his past. And so his journey began. Review contains spoilers. Overall, I think I understand why some people say that this book is a combination of old Murakami and new Murakami, specifically on Amazon. Old because this book is like the previous books, full of sadness and melancholy, carrying existentialism and surrealism, but also has realistic elements, interwoven with jazz and dreamy sleep. What's new is that this story has an element of mystery, something like a detective story, and leans more towards surrealism. Most importantly, after the initially stifling atmosphere, the closer it gets to the end of the story, the easier it is to breathe, and when it ends, I really feel a sense of serenity, although it is still an open ending. There are also opinions that reading this story by Murakami, people don't understand anything. There are still many questions. For example, Tsukuru was cut off by the other 4 people because Trung, the female member of the group, said that he had raped her. The rape was true. Den, the remaining female member, also Trung's best friend, confirmed that Trung got pregnant afterwards and had a miscarriage. But when Tsukuru, 36 years old, met her and said that he didn't do it, they really believed that he didn't do it. And the story of who murdered Trung is still a mystery. Personally, I think the author has explained everything in the part near the end. But what he aims for is not a clear result. This is probably due to the influence of the writer Kafka, according to an interview with Murakami. But it leans towards surrealism, like the author wants the reader to be able to dream while awake, in the journey with the character to understand themselves better, receive forgiveness, find peace, not find out who the culprit is. In this story, Murakami succeeded, I think, because the theme he aimed for was well developed. After reading, people's minds are still vague but not disappointed, welcoming the open ending but in a light spirit. Tsukuru is colorless but actually colorful, pale but the strongest person, empty so he becomes a container, always follows a standard so he is the hook for the ship to anchor. My favorite point in this book is probably the description of the above contradiction. Tsukuru represents such a type of person. The type of person who thinks he is lost, insignificant, useless, but to others, he makes the people in the group feel calm, like a thread connecting everyone. That's why when the thread is cut, the whole group flies around, each person drifting to a different place, some even disappearing into nothingness. In short, after reading the story, what I learned is that each of us has some value, not necessarily easily recognizable to the naked eye, but we are a part of the lives of those around us. Even if we make mistakes, even if we are hurt, let's aim for forgiveness. Give ourselves a chance to continue living lightly with a peaceful soul.